Hi everyone, this is a pick a pile reading for some messages that might help you right now in terms of confirmation or guidance for your current situation. It is a timeless reading, so I hope it finds you exactly when it's meant to. So these are our three piles, and so feel free to choose whichever one you'd like, or you can listen to more than one if you would prefer. In terms of how to choose your pile, you can choose according to the number or the appearance of the pile, or you can just trust your intuition. On this occasion, we also have an oracle card that's peeking out from each pile, and they all happen to have a different color, so that might also be what guides you to a particular pile. There's definitely no right or wrong pile, so just choose the one you feel drawn to, or if there's more than one, you may need to listen to more than one pile. In terms of how I'll do this reading, I'll go through each pile in order, so you can just listen to the whole video as it flows, or you can just skip forward to the pile that you're interested in. In terms of the decks I've used, I will have a list of them at the end of the reading, so again, just skip through to that if you would just like those details later. All right, thanks. We'll move on. Hello, pile number one. Your tarot card today is the Hermit, and so that's suggesting that this has been a time of solitude and introspection for you. That time has certainly been useful for self-discovery and for healing, but there is the sense that this has gone on a bit too long now, and it's time to start connecting with others again. There is a card here that reads Relinquish Self-Importance. This card is about being less self-centered and seeing the perspectives of others. This card is from the Four Agreements card deck by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it relates to the agreement, don't take anything personally. There is a message on the back of this card that I will read out later on. The numerology card here is titled Intuition, but it's an orange card, an orange macabre on an orange background. So while this is a card of intuition, the color orange tells me that we're talking about the sacral chakra today. This chakra is related to passion, inspiration, and creativity, but it also relates to connection. And I think that's the important message for today. Try to connect with others and try to understand where they're coming from. As you're talking to people, listen and pay attention to what they're saying, but also pay attention to what you're sensing intuitively about them, because there's always more for you to sense than simply what a person is saying. Their appearance, their energy, their body language, their facial expressions, their tone of voice. Feel into all of those nonverbal cues that are there for you to see and sense. Let yourself respond intuitively to everything you're sensing about people when you're talking to them. This will definitely lead to more meaningful conversations, and it will also allow you to build connections with others. This numerology card is a number 22 card, which is a number known as the Master Builder in numerology. That number suggests that you are someone who can create and build whatever you want. So if you want to build stronger connections, that certainly is within your capability. The number 22 can also be seen as the number 2 duplicated, and this card here is actually in the second position of the spread. The number 2 is associated with planting seeds for the future. I think that these connections that you are starting to build will grow into bigger, stronger connections over time. I'm now just going to read out the message from the Four Agreements card. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Now that is an interesting message because there is mention of taking things personally, and I did say at the start that the hermit phase has been about healing. This makes me wonder if you have been someone who has been easily hurt in the past, and it's primarily because you've been too sensitive to the words and actions of others. The message I've just read serves as a reminder that other people's words and actions are more often a reflection of whatever is going on with them and where they are in their journey. There is absolutely no need for you to take anything someone else says or does personally. You can just observe and understand that they are acting out because of their own unhealed issues or because of their own shadow. So while you're emerging from this period of healing from past hurts, remember not to take on new hurts that relate to other people's issues. And if some people are just too unpleasant to deal with, you can just choose to minimize contact with them. And you can instead spend time with people who are much easier to be around. You can choose to build connections with people who you can have lovely relationships with. You certainly don't have to take all comers and make yourself accept that some people won't treat you right. In fact, if they aren't treating you right, step away from them. You deserve better than people who aren't treating you right. I hope that resonated for you, Pile 1. Take care. And I hope you enjoy this fresh new phase of building connections with others. I suspect it will go much better this time. I'm going to move over to the next slide now for pile number 2's reading. But if you did like this reading, just give me an up arrow on the video. That would be great. Thank you. Hello, pile number 2. So this is your reading. We're starting out, I'm going to start with the tarot card, which is the Sun. And that's a tremendously positive card. It's about experiencing and radiating joy and feeling truly happy. I see this sun here shining down on this person, and there is actually a stream of light that's connecting the sun with this person's crown chakra. The crown chakra is associated with enlightenment and spiritual connection with Source and with all of life. On one of the oracle cards, we have a lighthouse, which is symbolic of shining a light so others can see their way in the darkness. The message on this card is communicate with clarity. I think that this is saying that it's time for you to recognize that you are the lighthouse for other people in your life, and this is something you might not have understood before. It's time to know it, and it's time to own it. You need to step into that lighthouse role confidently because you are connected to the light of the divine, and you are also connected to the people around you. You are the channel that's communicating the light-filled messages of spirit to others who are still cut off from that light for whatever reason. They will probably see it as your light, but it is the light of spirit being transmitted through you, and it is to give those people hope and to light their way. I will read out the message on the back of this lighthouse card at the end of the reading, but the card is from the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the agreement that this is related to is don't make assumptions. When I read the back of the card for pile 1, it did give me more information, so that might happen here too. I'm not sure if it will just yet. The numerology card here is a number 19 card, which is so interesting because the Sun is also a number 19 card. This is reinforcing that message to shine. The Sun is a Leo card, and the message on this numerology card is pride, which is also a trait we associate with Leo. I know that it's sometimes seen as a negative trait by others, but that is how people see it when other people come across as boastful and arrogant. In reality, you can be proud of yourself and still be a humble person. It's very possible to know that you aren't perfect and that you aren't always right, but still feel proud of who you are and how far you've come in your journey, and still feel proud about the well-intentioned good things that you do. This to me isn't about pride as a negative trait. It is, as I said earlier, about having the confidence to shine your light. You are the lighthouse, and a lighthouse definitely stands out, but it isn't seen as showy and attention-stealing, because people know it's there to help. It's a good thing. The number 19 reduces to 1, which is the number of new beginnings, and it's also the number of the magician in tarot. The magician is someone who can make anything happen because he holds all the aces. The aces are cards that relate to new beginnings too. This is saying to me that you are someone who can inspire others to make new beginnings. In terms of the colours on this numerology card, I see a red macabre on a purple background. Those colours represent the root and crown chakras, and that is fascinating because the root chakra connects us to the earth, the physical, and the crown chakra connects us to spirit. And in fact, when you look back at the Sun card, the woman on it is standing on the earth as she receives the light from above. Both of these number 19 cards are about being enlightened as well as being grounded. Having the ability to bring divine wisdom down and anchoring it into our physical reality. That is just beautiful. Now I'm going to read the back of that 4 agreements card for you and see if that brings anything else up. Right, the card reads, communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. If all humans would communicate with impeccability of the word, all of our relationships would change. There would be no wars, no violence, no misunderstandings. That's a beautiful message, and I'm not getting too much more from that. From what the cards have shown already, I think you're someone who is very enlightened, and I think you already are someone who is a conscious communicator, someone who understands that words have the power to uplift and the power to hurt and do harm. It is a responsibility to communicate clearly and impeccably, but I think you're someone who already knows that. All the best, pile number 2. Keep shining. I'm now going to move on to pile number 3 for their reading, but if you liked your reading, please give me a thumbs up for the video. Thank you. Hello, pile number 3. This is your reading. Your tarot card is the 5 of Wands, which is about competition or conflict. You're obviously in a situation where you're dealing with other people with competing interests or directly competing with others in the pursuit of success. That might feel challenging, but I think the message that wants to come through is that all you need to do is to do your best. The tortoise did beat the hare after all. That's a story I often tell my children because it is the ultimate always do your best story. The tortoise won because he did his best. The hare lost because he didn't. It's up to you whether you let yourself get bothered by what other people are doing. You can actually just choose to see them as an unnecessary distraction and pull your focus back to what you're doing and what you can do to make yourself better at what you're doing. There's a card here that reads, take action without expecting a reward. And this card is from Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. The agreement this card relates to is always do your best. That's exactly the point I'm making to my children with the hare and tortoise story. If you always do your best, you will have nothing to regret. If both animals had done their best at that race, the hare would have won, but the tortoise would also have had reason to be proud of himself, because he showed up and he did as well as he could have been expected to do, in a race that he really had no reason to think he'd win. That message of taking action without expecting a reward is exactly what the tortoise did. He didn't expect to win, so he had no expectation of a reward. But he turned up and he did his best anyway. The numerology card here is called synchronicity, and I think that's about how even if you don't get the physical rewards that you're looking for, the universe is going to be so proud of you for continuing to show up and continuing to put your best foot forward. And the synchronicities mean that the universe is going to actively show you that you are divinely supported. There's that saying that God helps those who help themselves, and you're going to know that the universe has your back. You will see encouraging signs and symbols, and you will receive encouraging messages. I guess the usual signs and symbols are things like number synchronicities, feathers, coins, etc. But the universe can send messages in innumerable ways. You might hear a certain song play regularly, or there might be a lyric that gets stuck in your head. You might see or hear a phrase repeated often. You might see a certain symbol, for example, hearts or stars, repeatedly. I feel these synchronicities will be prominently related to the work you're doing. Enjoy these synchronicities because they are telling you that you are on the right path, even if the rewards aren't here in the physical world just yet. Those rewards will come in divine timing. The lack of physical reward doesn't mean you're wasting your time. The universe wants you to keep going, and that's what the synchronicities are all about. Now, this is a number 87 card, and that number might be significant for you. It actually reminds me of 1987, so that might be a relevant year for somebody. In terms of 1987, I know there was a big stock market crash that year, but for the little 9-year-old person that I was, it was a wonderful year. And I think there's something in that. So maybe your time of success will come at a time when others aren't doing so well. maybe that's when your work will come into its own. Now, going back to that tortoise, he got his victory on the day of that race because it was a day when the hare made a really bad decision. I guess even if your rivals are doing better than you are right now, things might change at some point, and then it will be you that emerges in front. Now, I've mentioned a children's story, my children, and the little 9-year-old me, and that's all making me think of the inner child. Maybe that's an area that needs attention. Maybe you grew up with some unhealthy programming related to competition and winning and losing. And if so, maybe it's time to rewrite that programming. There's an Ernest Hemingway quote where he says, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is in being superior to your former self." The only person you should be competing with is yourself. You should always be trying to do better and aim higher. Never mind what other people are doing. Just keep bettering yourself and the quality of the work that you do or whatever it is you're trying to put out there into the world. The number 87 reduces to 6, which is the number of unconditional love. I think this is about unconditionally loving your inner child. Maybe in the past you were taught that you had to earn love or praise or attention by achieving things and accomplishing things. That just isn't true. You were always meant to be loved unconditionally. Now, if the adults that you grew up with messed that part up, you need to let it go because you're an adult now and you can do this for yourself. You can love your inner child just the way they are because they are worthy of love. And allowing your inner child to feel loved and accepted is going to be positive. I think it's going to unlock so much creativity and energy because happy children are just naturally creative, energetic beings. And maybe that's the spark that's currently missing in your work. So I feel like it could be a worthwhile investment to stop and give your inner child some unconditional love so that they can feel free to shine at whatever they're good at and free to create whatever they want to create. And then you can let that energy flow into your work and see what happens. The colours on this numerology card are a pink macabre on a purple background. Pink is a colour associated with the heart chakra and unconditional love, and purple is the colour of the crown chakra, and it's associated with enlightenment. This confirms that the message is to love yourself unconditionally going forward, because that is the enlightened perspective that you now have. Now I'm going to read the back of this 4 agreements card. So it reads, "Do your best and take the action because you love it, not because you expect a reward. When you take action without expecting a reward, you enjoy every action and you can receive greater rewards than you imagined." Great message. And that's it for pile number 3. I hope this message has given you the guidance you need for your current situation, and I hope things start improving for you as a result. All the best, pile number 3. Now, if you liked this reading, I hope that you will give me a thumbs up for the video. That would be so lovely. All right. Thank you for checking out this pick a pile reading. I sincerely hope the pile or piles you chose resonated for you and your current situation. So here is the list of the decks that I used today for those who are interested. Obviously, I've already mentioned the 4 Agreements deck by Don Miguel Ruiz, but the other decks were the Numerology Guidance Cards by Michelle Buchanan and the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. If you enjoyed this reading, please show your support. I enjoyed making this video, and so I hope that this is the first of many such offerings. I also blog on Facebook, so if you're interested, please check out my blog page, Serafina Joy, and just on the right of this slide is a little image of what that page looks like. I hope to see you all again. Thank you. Bye.